Well, hello friends. Welcome back to browser hacking. Today we are going to build an ad blocker for the Serenity OS browser because that's something that every browser should have if they want to go on the internet, because the internet is full of ads and So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm thinking we'll do a simple filter list that we load when we start up the browser. We hand that over to libweb, and then libweb will simply refuse to load resources that match any of the filters. So that's the basic outline. And I think we'll start by just making a simple filter list. So let's see, how do we do that? Maybe something like add filters dot add filters. I don't know. Okay, so what do we put in here? Like ads, something like this. That's a pretty decent filter. And maybe add like that. And what is that Google thing that they always have? Like Google syndication. Doubleclick.net. Yeah, so we could do something like doubleclick.net. And googlesyndication.com. Let's say that we just refuse to load these, right? So then what we want to do is go into the resource loader. So this is where all requests that we send out to the web from the web engine go through the resource loader class. And we can log here that we are about to load something. So we'll say load resource loader load, and then just the URL, and then we can figure out if we want to filter it. And I think we should maybe do the filtering before we check the port or anything, right? So it seems fine to start by filtering. Or actually, the filters might get expensive, so maybe it's better to check the port block first. I prefer to do cheap checks first, whenever sensible, because it's just, if you're gonna fail, it's better to fail fast than to do a bunch of work and then fail. So yeah. So let's see. We can put that here, and then if is filtered URL, then we'll say resource loader load URL was filtered, and then the URL. Okay, and then we will simply refuse to load it for now. I think we could also do stuff like having a failure callback or something like that. Right now, this is not going to communicate anything to the caller, so it will just look like a load that kicks off but never finishes, because we don't have super sophisticated ways of reporting back to somebody who started a load what actually ended up happening to it. We do have a failure callback, but as you'll see here, like in the case of a port block situation, we don't notify the failure callback in any way. So let's just not worry too much about that right now. And instead, let's go and make a little ads directory here in my local test web server. And we can also make my cool blog. No, not glob, blog. Okay, and then let me make my cool blog here. So, I don't know, h1 blink. Welcome to Andreas's blog. You know, And I think we are gonna have some ads here. Wait, clearing ads, big ugly ad dot JPEG, GIF. Let's say GIF. Please look at ad. Or wait, please click ad so I make money. Cool. Okay, so that's a very typical web page, I think. Oh, wait. And of course we are on the local machine here, so localhost. Right, so this doesn't actually go anywhere. So I'm gonna have to make that ad GIF. Big ugly ad GIF. That's not how that works. Anyways, okay, so we'll just make a big ugly ad. I don't know. Just make a big beautiful text here. Doctors hate him. All right. It's not super legible, but maybe that's okay. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Wait, why am I not doing this right? All right. There we go. Now it's looking real cool. And maybe we'll get a stock photo of happy man. All right. This is going places. I like this guy. He seems very cool. So we will simply scale this layer down a bit. All right. Great. This is just going swimmingly, isn't it? And let's export this. Big ugly ad.gif. All right, sure. Perfect. So let's see that this page loads in Serenity the way that it is right now. And then let's get to the point where it doesn't load anymore. So first off, we will just make one of these things that that doesn't do any filtering, so that we can boot. And then all right, very cool. So let's see, how do we make this a little bit more convenient for ourselves? Let's start by making this the browser start page so that I don't have to keep typing the URL. And then let's see if we can load up this filter list. So I think we're gonna, let's see. I think right now we'll do like a global filter list for the whole engine. And then later we should probably make it per tab or something like that, so that you can like disable the ad filtering in one tab. But right now let's just make it engine global, just because that's a lot easier at the moment. So we'll put this in loader maybe. We'll have what do we want to call this? Add filter .h, or should we just call it content filtering? Content filter. Content filter is pretty good. Low adder, content filter. All right, so what on earth is a content filter? I guess it is something that that we can attach to and ask it if it filters the thing that we have. So it would, you give it a URL and it gives you an answer, yes or no, let's say. We can start with something like that. And yeah, and then later we can make this something you can attach to your frame or your tab or whatever. But right now it'll be global. So we need URL. And let's see, let's just do a singleton for now. And we can have something like is filtered or is allowed, let's say. URL, okay, and then internally here we'll just store a bunch of filters maybe. So what is a filter? I don't know exactly yet. String pattern maybe, or oh, we can call them patterns. Should we call them patterns? Filter is pretty good, but pattern is also good. Yeah, let's just start with something like this. Okay. And then we'll have like add filter, or maybe we can have add pattern, or load from file, let's say. Path. Yeah, that's pretty good. Load patterns from file. Okay. So what do we do in this file? We will include the header, namespace web, and then just the basics. We'll make that destructor private so that nobody comes here and messes things up for us. And maybe the constructor as well, actually. And then we can have the function construct. So content filter the content filter. Just do something like this. Okay. And then content filter is allowed. This will go through all of the patterns. And we also had the load patterns from file. Okay, and then how do we use this? We used it from resource loader. So instead of this is filtered thing here, we will simply include libweb loader content filter. Okay. And instead of is filter, we'll say content filter the is allowed. If it's not allowed, yeah. So then here we'll go through our list of patterns. If pattern matches URL, return false. Otherwise return true. Okay. And then matches const URL. Okay. So how do we determine if it's a match? I guess it's just a glob right now. We don't have any regular expressions or anything. That's something that we can add later. But I think right now we're just going to treat them as globs. And maybe even like globs with implied stars on both sides. And then we could have something that says that this is a regex, or we could even look at how these filter lists are usually done and be compatible with importing existing ones, or I don't know what's the best option. But right now, let's just start simple and do globbing. So what do we have in here? Text, matches. Oh, matches, cool. URL to string, and I think we want case sensitive matching for this. Okay, great. And then we want to load patterns from file. So this will be called browser startup, let's say. So when we boot up the browser, maybe here, add filter list or error, core file open, standard paths, config directory. So we have add filters.txt in the config directory. And we are going to open that with read only. All right. So if that's not an error, okay. And then we will need to get loader content filter. And actually, I should have just passed in the string to him. I realized now I didn't have to open it. But maybe it's better if the web engine doesn't have to open a local file in this case. So let's see what we do. So while add filter list, end of file. While it's not at end of file, then auto line is add filter list read line. If line is null, break, sure, whatever. Or if it's empty, then we should skip over it, rather. That's what I was thinking. And otherwise, content web content filter the. So instead of load patterns from file, let's just have add pattern. Yeah. I think that's slightly better. Then we let the client of the web engine deal with opening the file instead of having file opening logic inside the web engine. I like to do less things in the web engine when possible, especially when interacting with the operating system, like the greater operating system, because it's such a sensitive library, the web library, since it's exposed to arbitrary online content. You have to be really careful with what kind of system interactions you have. So there we go. Okay. And I guess we can log something here like add filter pattern, just so we see that we are loading it correctly. Okay. So we loaded these filter patterns here, but still we see the add. So it didn't work out perfectly just yet. Is allowed is also a bit weird. Is allowed should block. What do we, should we call it is allowed? Is filtered? Feels like a better question to be asking a filter. So it's a yeah, because this was all backwards. Because like you would match anything, then it would say, oh, that's allowed. Or yeah, everything's backwards here. So let's see. Is filtered. And then we put in the URL. Debug line. We say matched pattern. This will be interesting. Okay, debug line, no match. Big ugly ad. So I feel like this thing here, we were supposed to filter that. Why do we not filter that? No match. Okay, so let's see. Oh, right, because it's not actually implicit stars on the side. We should, it should be, but it's not automatically doing that. So let's see. If pattern doesn't start with, let's see, string builder. Let's make the pattern start and end with a star. If it doesn't have it, so let's see, builder append a star and builder append pattern. And if it doesn't end with the star, we'll append another star. Yes. Still no go. All right. Why not then? Let's say, oops. No match for pattern. Matches. What does this thing do? I thought that's... The mask has the stars in it. Oh, wait, am I doing this backwards? I'm asking if the pattern matches. Oh, shoop. I'm supposed to ask if the string matches the pattern, not if the pattern matches the string. I'm doing it the upside down. And I realize now that we are doing a toString on the URL every step of the way, and that's a pretty expensive operation because we construct the serialized form of the URL every time. So I think we can just do that up front once. URL string is URL toString, and then we'll ask here if URL string matches pattern text. Or wait. Probably I didn't need that logic to be in a separate place. Yeah. Okay, so, oops. If URL string matches pattern text. Okay. Boom. And look at that. It matched. So we refused to start the load. That's pretty cool. I like that quite a bit. So what's a web page that has ads? Every web page ever. Let's see. Let's go hunting for something. So if we filter something, let's print it out in like super bright red, just so that we can see it. And otherwise we'll print it out in some other nice color. Will load. Just so we see what's actually coming out here. And then we will load some web page like Google. Okay, so we got all the greens here are loads, and they actually don't load any external scripts from like Google Ads or whatever here, so I guess that's cool. Did we actually... Wait, are we hitting the filter thing? It's filtered. Oh, because it's cached. Okay. URL was filtered, yeah, but I thought I'd made colors for that. Oops. I messed up the escape sequence. Okay, let's just quickly try that again so we see it in red. Yes, here we go. Okay, that's really sweet. So then what happens if we go to YouTube, which is probably not the most compatible site at the moment, but eventually one day we can make it more compatible. So I guess I don't spot anything immediately looking like an ad here. Maybe they load ads later or something, or maybe we're just not we're not like running enough of the JS to get an ad. So let's try some other site then. What about Patreon? Can somebody please load some ad scripts or tracking script or something? Datadog HQ. GoogleAnalytics.com. Here we go. Google Analytics. Perfect. Let's block that. Because I use Google Analytics sometimes, but I certainly don't care about blocking it. So let's just do it. Now the advantages of being a completely independent browser vendor finally start to come in here. This is something I could never ever have done in a major engine that I worked on. Just put this type of thing in there, but nobody can stop me now. So anyway, Let's see. What's Google Tag Manager? Ad block. Should I block it? I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Okay, so let's just start with that. Google Analytics. And then we go to patreon.com. And will it filter? Wait, it's here again. Dang it. Oh, I forgot to save. Also, I don't need to reboot. I can just edit this text file. Patreon, come on. Ooh, it's filtered. Oh, check it out. Oh man, that's pretty cool. Although, what actually happens when we filter it? Does that mean that we're blocked now? What is it doing? Maybe the browser will block because it wants to run this JavaScript and it's just going to wait for it to finish forever. So let's see if we can just see what it's doing. See, resource did load, parse, blah, blah, blah. Load sync. Yeah, okay, so it's like synchronously trying to run a script, I think. Yep. Load sync. Okay, so we're actually going to need to fail the load or it won't work. So if it's filtered, let's call the error callback. Filtered. Or we don't say anything. Or actually, we need an error message here. Or less filtered. Let's just say that. Okay, yeah, so now it continues loading, and we just simply don't get that script. That seems good enough. Very, very cool. And then, of course, it's just burning CPU trying to run scripts on Patreon, but that's a whole other issue. Cool. Okay, and let's go to liveoverflow.com. I don't know if he has ads, but maybe he loads some interesting assets that we can recognize. Google Tag Manager. I don't know what that is. Oh, look at that. We got Google syndication. Very cool. Just blocked it and continued loading. Not the most perfect rendering of this page for sure, but even so. What is this? What is this thing even doing, I wonder? Protocol server is spinning. Why? I don't think it's because of something we've done here. Let's see. Malloc. Okay, so it looks like something is a bit weird in the HTTP library. Not sure what. But this probably requires some looking into at some point. Anyway, This is very cool. DuckDuckGo, they shouldn't have anything on there, right? They wouldn't. Just DuckDuckGo stuff. All right, so let's go to, you know, I feel like ads are everywhere on the internet, except now that I want to think of some place that has ads, I can't think of anything. Why is this so difficult suddenly? Let's go to Reddit. What do we have here? Yeah, so I guess I shouldn't sit here and try to construct ad filters from scratch for the whole internet. I guess I just imagined that something obvious would pop up. But, oh, see something. xads.js, I bet that's something that we don't care about. But yeah. Okay. We have to stop somewhere. So let's say that this is basically the initial state of the feature. So basic content filtering. We don't need to log that. No, yes. Okay. So we can definitely log in sweet color that we filtered something because it is pretty awesome. Okay. I don't know why I went to liveoverflow.com. I think because he suggested a while back that I should make an ad blocker for Serenity, and I guess it's like he's in the back of my mind, so I just went to his website to see if he had ads. Let's go to 4chan and see if they have ads. I mean, I know they have ads, so can we... But do they try to load them for us? You wouldn't download a car. Or would I? That's definitely an ad, so... What is the URL of the image? It's an on-site image, sure, okay. So contest banners. I guess we can try to filter that, like who cares? I mean, we're not going to ship all of these filters by default. I'm really just messing with them now anyway. But it would be sweet to have like a filter list that you could turn on if you wanted to. Where is my filter list? Here. Okay, so let's just put this in here. So for cdn.org/image/contest banners. And let's see if that ad goes away. It was filtered. Look at that. That's so sweet. And then you can see here that the resource load fails. So the image loader is whining and you don't get the ad. That's really cool. So I guess there are additional things that we could do to improve upon this, like making sure that a filtered image has like 0x0 dimensions and things like that, but we don't have to do that today. Also, I think we're going to get rid of all this debug spam here. Yeah, we don't need to log all that. Like, this is very, very basic stuff. And we'll just make this into a fix-up. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Add a basic content filter. Add block. So this patch adds a filter, a global filter list to the web that per process can that is used to filter all outgoing resource load requests. If we check the URL against a list of filter patterns, and if it's a match for any one of them, we immediately fail the load. Okay. The filter list is a simple text file at config add filters txt. Yeah, that name is kind of dumb. So browser filters txt maybe. It's one filter per line, and they are glob. They are simple glob filters at them for now, with implicit asterisks at the start and end of the line. Yes, and then we'll rename that add filters thing. So add filters becomes browser filters. Browser content filters.txt. Yeah, let's do browser content filters. Yeah, so it's only the browser that loads this thing, not any other thing that embeds a web view, right? So I think that's probably okay, because then, you know, if you're using a web view in a different app, you don't necessarily want to filter all these things. But that is pretty cool. So what happened here? We got the image, and I guess it defaults to 300 by 150, which is the default for images. Resource did fail. Well, I'm not gonna fix that up today. I just wanted to do the actual filtering, which we've done, so that's pretty cool. And then in the future, we should collapse these items so that they disappear from the layout and stuff like that. But just as a starting point, I'm pretty happy with this. So I think we'll end the video here. So if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching, for hanging out, and I hope that you saw something interesting here. And I'm very happy with this feature. I think it's something that every browser should have, and I'm glad that we have it. So We need to do some improvements to it, of course, but got to start somewhere. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.